Hi, Katie Hetler here for 4:30 final presentation. My case study was Bob's Dilemma. Bob recently found out that his wife and him are having twins, and he is debating on whether he should take more than the few days of paternity leave that he initially thought he wanted to take. His wife has asked him to take more time off, and he is allotted up to 6 weeks of partial paid paternity leave. Now, he is concerned with this because there's a lot of negativity around family leave at Audits, the company he works for. His personal thoughts or influences, he's worried about how people are reacting, if it's going to be acceptable, how it will affect his career. And he also has some influences in his life, such as his dad, who maybe think that this is maybe more of a woman's role than a man's role. The employer audits has really a big emphasis on dedication. When employees do take extra time off, there's a lot of negativity around that. Even when a female employee took maternity leave, she was met with some resentment when she returned from work. There's a lot of negative feedback for men who want to take this paternity leave, even though it's offered to them as a benefit of the company. And Bob's boss has implied that single men tend to be better employees because they have more ability to travel than maybe employees who have family needs. And then the coworkers who don't have children view this benefit as unfair because they don't have access to it because they don't have kids. So the first theory that I really drew a parallel to was Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Bob's definitely meeting the first level, which is, he's able to breathe, he gets water, he can buy food. The next one is safety, which is security of body, employment, resources, that sort of thing. He's kind of getting that. There's some deficits there with the family. The next tier is love and belonging needs. And I think this is kind of where Bob's kind of stuck. He really needs that friendship and family to move on to the esteem needs. And he's unable to meet that need with the way that Audits is treating their employees. He's really, his home life is being compromised by his work life. He's being forced to choose between the two. The structuration theory is basically patterns are established within an organization by the way people act. It says on page 107, in other words, people create a structure through their actions, but they also perpetuate or reproduce the structure by acting within it. So there's the employees' resentment, managerial comments, internal dialogue with the employees that end up making them not take this paternity leave. And that repeats itself over and over and over, and it becomes a norm within the organization. Chapter 6 was all about defensive environments. That's where I drew all the parallels, spontaneity versus strategy. Bob has to strategize before he can talk to his employer. He can't be spontaneous and talk to his employer about his needs. He is concerned that he's going to be met with negativity. So he needs to try to figure out how he's going to talk to them and how this is going to affect him at work and his career. Same with empathy versus neutrality. Audits manages with indifference. They don't have empathy for what their employees' personal needs are. They only care about the business needs. When family needs aren't being dismissed, they're being gossiped about. They need to manage with empathy and understanding to help improve their employee retention. And same with allowing their employees to speak spontaneously, but that's going to come with being empathetic. For chapter 7, the relational approach has this grid of different management styles, and I think Audits really falls in the authority compliance style. There's really a low concern for nurturing. There's a lot of micromanagement. Bob's supervisor really focuses on deadlines and prefers the single employees over married and with kids. Aside from all the things that Audits is doing wrong, I really think Bob needs to focus on himself a little bit too. Like some of this comes back on him. He could really push his argumentativeness here. This communication apprehension that he's showing is he's considering work over his family. And he's been worrying about this for weeks, which is probably negatively affecting his family as well. So he could really benefit from being more argumentative, and that could play out to be a better thing for him in the future too. The book says that people who are argumentative generally do better and get further in the company. Chapter 11 was a struggle for me, but I did, what can be done should be done is what's said under the technological imperative. Audits employees really thinks that employees don't need the leave because nobody's taking it. If they don't need it, why should anyone take it? This is really just going to result in more lack of motivation with the employees. And then the communicative view really goes right back to the structuration theory that I already talked about. Behaviors are being reinforced, the actions of the employees and the communications from management are just creating that pattern. So in conclusion, I think that, Bob's unable to go through those stages of needs. The employees at audits have really created these patterns that need to be resolved. These patterns are perpetuating this negative behavior, and it's creating a defensive environment. Bob could really benefit from being more outspoken and more argumentative, and maybe some spontaneity back in his thinking, and the way that he speaks with his employer may be better too. What can be done may not always be the best choice. Maybe it shouldn't be done. That's all I got. I'm looking forward to hearing what you all have to say. Thanks so much.